What's your favorite scary movie? Let's rank the Scream franchise on Raiders of the Lost podcast.
Hello, movie friends. We just watched Scream 6 and found it to be one of the better entries in the Scream franchise. I was actually pretty surprised. It was entertaining. They had some unique stuff in there, and the kills were brutal, so I was actually happy with it in terms of the Scream franchise. So we thought, why not do an entire ranking of the Scream franchise?
Now that there are 6, and I'm sure there's going to be 7, and
it's actually coming out next week.
Yeah, they basically rebooted this back with Scream in 2022 with a whole new cast and everything, as well as some legacy characters coming back, but we lost a few. Obviously, there will be some spoilers in this movie as we talk about the killers, talk about the kills, talk about the characters and the plots some of these movies. But yeah, let's rank all 6 of the Scream movies, have a little fun with it, because we love Scream, the original. It's one of the greatest slasher movies of all time, one of the best American horror movies ever made. Wes Craven holds a special place in our heart with the films that he made, and we adore Scream from 1996. It's just a classic, and they've managed to make 6 movies out of a franchise based off that. Sometimes they've repeated the plot scene by scene.
Sometimes
a few times, but they still manage to try to do new things, which is why I think I like Scream 6 better than Scream 5 when it comes to the reboot, because at least they did new things. Of course, that opening kill was actually really interesting what they did, mixing it up, changing what happens with Ghostface, because Scream 5, as we talked about when we reviewed it, it felt like a scene-for-scene remake of the first film, which is why I wasn't super enthused about it after we saw it. But Scream 6, pleasantly surprised. Do we need another Scream? Do you want a Scream 7?
I'm shocked that they made 2 so quickly. So they've already made 2 in 2 years. So I think we could take a break for a few years.
I don't think they want to.
I was surprised they already greenlit the Scream 6 so quickly after Scream 5. And now, since Scream 6 had its best opening weekend so far in the entire franchise's history, I expect them to greenlight another one pretty quickly. Although I would say, for franchises, I think it's better to take a step in between them, maybe a couple of year breaks. That way you build up anticipation and get people more excited. Although from what we could tell from the screening we went to, everybody was already juiced. But I would say you could dilute the franchise if they keep coming out every year.
I don't think the studios really care. I don't think they care anymore about waiting and building anticipation. They just want it out as soon as possible. They have an IP that's making money. Mm-hmm. They're gonna make. So I'm assuming Scream 7 is gonna get greenlit for 2024. I would not be surprised.
It comes out, like I said, next week.
It's already filmed. They're filming right now. But obviously, Scream 6 wasn't a perfect movie, but it did new things to the Scream franchise. Made it a little fresh, changed the location. We're in New York City, a.k.a. Montreal, which is where they filmed this, right?
It doesn't look like New York at all.
The subways, yeah, sure, a little bit here and there, but it's definitely not New York City. But we're going to go through rankings for us, but before then, we're going to do Rotten Tomatoes rankings, IMDb's rankings, Collider rankings, go through a bunch of different media organizations and see how they have the Scream franchise ranked.
But I will say, a spoof of the Scream franchise, I think, is better than almost all of the films in that Scary Movie.
Yeah, except for the first one.
The first one's great.
No, the first Scream.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, Scary Movie with the spoof of Ghostface and the spoof of Sidney Prescott, it was so well done, and I just gotta throw it out there. I like it better than, I think, every Scream movie except for the original Scream. I really love Scary Movie and what they did with that.
It's a great movie.
What's up?
All right. How about we'll start our rankings for other outlets with Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see what the Rotten Tomatoes critic score has the Scream franchise ranking in order.
Let's hear it.
Their number 1 on Rotten Tomatoes is Scream 2 with an 82% score. This was the sequel to Scream that came out in 1997. Scream, the original, is number 2 at 80%. Now, we know that this is based off movie critic scores, because if Scream 1 is not number 1 on your list, then your list is wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect people's opinions, but that's a wrong opinion to have not have Scream 1. It's the only time I'll tell someone they're wrong.
Yeah, I would say
you're incorrect.
I would say out of the franchise, it's easy to put Scream 1 as their best one.
It's
easy,
a no-brainer.
It's an easy decision to make.
Yeah, it's.
I would say.
I'm sorry, but like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to look at your list if Scream isn't the number one. But Scream's number 2 at 80% because this isn't based off opinion, really. It's based off a bunch of accumulation of reviews.
And also, Rotten Tomatoes is based on what percentage of them are fresh reviews, rather than each review, what's their rating of it. It's how many of them are fresh out of 100.
Then at number 3 on Rotten Tomatoes rankings is Scream 6, which just came out a couple weeks ago at 77%. Then number 4, they have Scream, the 2022 version, at 76%. Number 5, Scream 4 at 60%, came out in 2011. And then bottom of the list at number 6, they have Scream 3 at 41%. That came out in 2000.
I believe that list.
So, I
It's
mean,
a pretty good list.
well, besides
Well, except for the opening.
Except for the opening. Except for the opening. That's pretty decent. You know, that's a pretty solid list. How about move on to the IMDb user rating list, Anthony?
What do they got?
What does IMDb? This is based off the user rating all time. So Scream 1, 7.4 is still number 1 on the list. Then second place is Scream 6 at a 7.3. Number 3 on the list, Scream 2 at a 6.3. Number 4 on the list is Scream from 2022 at a 6.3. Number 5 on the list is Scream 4 at a 6.2. And then last on the list, again, we have Scream 3 with a 5.6. So I think we're seeing a trend here with Scream 3 at the being at the bottom, and then Scream 1, 2, and 6 kind of being in the top 3, it looks like, usually.
I actually think that IMDb ratings are pretty accurate for the most part. I think Scream 1 deserves definitely 8 or higher, but because Scream franchise hasn't always been so consistent, I definitely agree that the majority of them are in the 6s, which is kind of like lukewarm ratings. I agree with most of those.
They've kind of just become adored because of the cult following behind them, behind like the brand, behind Ghostface, versus them not necessarily being the best horror movies of all time. The first one's terrific, but that's like every horror franchise. Not every Freddy movie is great. Not every Halloween movie is great. Not every Nightmare on Elm Street movie is great.
There's some duds in there, yeah.
So, and not every Jason Voorhees Friday the 13th movie, I just said that, is great either. So I understand that it's based off brand recognition and the love for the characters and just the tropes, the horror genre cliches. I get that for sure.
Yeah, and so I definitely agree, because I would put a lot of these movies as 6-ish.
Somewhere
myself.
around there.
Yeah.
And we'll do one more outlet, actually, just because we don't want to do like 8 of them. It actually sounds kind of boring. Let's just do Letterboxd next, and then we'll get to our rankings as well as talk about the killers and some fun stuff about the franchise. So Letterboxd, according to ratings on Letterboxd, Scream, the original, is number 1 with a 4.1 score. I think that's a really solid rating.
Accurate.
Personally, I think 4.1 is excellent. And then we have Scream 6 at a 3.8 in second place. Now, I think Scream 6, because maybe it's the most recent one, there might be some recency bias. That's why it's showing up second place on a lot of lists. But I can see top 3 for sure, no problem.
From what I could gather, the fan reaction has been fantastic for this film, so that doesn't surprise me at all.
And then we have a 3-way tie for third place between Scream 2, Scream 4, and Scream 5, all ranked 3.4. And then, of course, at the bottom of the barrel, poor Scream 3 getting left alone with a 2.9.
I mean, the whole Hollywood storyline is just dumb. It's dumb.
It's
not
awful. I wouldn't say it's dumb.
Not
I don't
dumb,
hate
but
it.
it's just executed poorly.
It could be better. But I like, that's what I like about Scream 3, though, is stab the franchise. We're going like behind the set on location of the studios and the killers operating in the movies.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I don't hate it.
I will say Scream 3 has one of the best kills.
Which one?
Of Maureen, of Jada Pinkett Smith's character in the movie theater.
That's Scream 2.
Oh, that's Scream 2. Never mind.
Jeez Louise.
Scream 2 has one of the best kills.
That's the best spoof in Scary Movie, I think.
That's so funny. Everyone takes turns stabbing her. And then they all go back to eating their popcorn.
Now, how about before we get into our ranking, we talk about the killers of the Scream franchise?
Let's do it.
Because there are quite a few, and some have huge kill counts, some have small kill counts, but they're still interesting to talk about.
Who's your favorite killer, just right off the bat?
I think right off the bat, it's Billy Loomis.
I think it's got to be Billy Loomis.
The best movie, best killer.
Yeah.
And even though he only has a kill count of 3 in that movie, he's still the best killer for sure. And I will say, I don't love the ghost of Billy Loomis being in the new franchise. I don't love it.
Yeah, that's something with the new ones I'm not a fan of.
It's like a Force ghost. It's
yeah. It feels like because especially because it happens in TV shows a lot. Like there's this trend where TV shows would run long enough where they eventually just have a ghost character show up, like a dead character just starts talking to the lead character. Like every TV show at one point was having like someone dead from the past talking to the lead character, and it became a trope. And it's like soap opera-y. And so when he showed up in Scream 5, I was like, are we going supernatural now? Like, what's going on?
In 6, I guess you could say there's some sort of a supernatural quality to Ghostface in general. You know, the kind of like coming back from the dead, make sure you pop him in the head. There is sort of a supernatural quality to Ghostface. It's never like specifically brought up, but it's kind of there, if that makes sense. But I don't love Billy Loomis's ghost. For the first time I saw it on Scream 5, I'm like, are we really doing this?
Yeah.
And then in Scream 6 again, are we doing this again? We're doing Billy Loomis's ghost is a hero? Like, what's going on?
Go get him, Tiger.
He's
basically.
He's giving Sam the strength to fight on. I get that, but like, you're going to use the advice from a serial killer to give motivation to your protagonist. It's a little weird. I don't love it.
It also like it helps her accept herself for enjoying killing. I don't know. I don't know. I'd never liked the ghost, and when it showed up and they did it again in 6, I was like, I'm not sure of the direction of this one.
Of the
ghost. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not
now
liking
he's
it.
got to be in the next one, right?
He's definitely. Yeah.
Billy Loomis's ghost has to be in Scream 7.
He's like gonna be Casper, like living with her.
He's gonna be like a hero now. He's gonna be like a good ghost.
Yeah, it makes it kind of feel like he's like a protagonist in a way of the film, even though he's a fucking murderer.
But Billy Loomis, I think, is the best killer for sure in the Scream franchise. The OG, Ghostface, and also has the best motivation of all the killers for wanting to become a killer and murderer. You know, using the horror movies as like research, but also the mental health and disturbances he's had in his youth because of what happened to his family. So
wanting to get it back at Sidney.
Like the revenge for him seems the most legit.
Because I mean, the thing with Ghostface is it needs to connect back. So sometimes they really have to stretch it and kind of give you. You need to like kind of be like, okay, don't think too hard. These people are now Ghostface because of this reason. So that is a thing where sometimes they stretch it a little too far, and it's like, is it believable?
I will say that also in Scream with Billy Loomis, they did a great job diverting attention from him being the killer with us not realizing there's going to be 2 killers in this movie, you know, having him locked up in jail. So I think they did a great job moving suspicion from that main character in the killer in the first film compared to the other ones. They become pretty predictable. Like me and you, we guessed the killers in the new movie within 30 minutes. It was
I guessed in 10 minutes. I guessed
it was kind of obvious. So. Well, not 10 minutes because the whole opening is...
Okay, well, it was less than 30. I gotta give you good stats.
That's what I said.
Give me good stats.
That's what I said. The opening sequence is 10 minutes before we get to...
So it's spoilers for 6. Like, right when Dermot Mulroney showed up, I was like, he's the killer.
And then
Quinn's the killer.
And also Quinn, I called Quinn because she came in for her phone.
Yeah.
And she's close to everybody.
I found it pretty obvious. And I was like, I guess I've seen the movie so many times. I guess I could recognize the signs.
I think so too.
What it was
for me too.
But sometimes Scream can be really surprising with the killers. I think the Emma Roberts reveal was obviously surprising.
Yeah, I have her second on this list.
Yeah. So, but with this film, I was kind of disappointed that I noticed who the killers were immediately.
So Jill Roberts in Scream 4 has a kill count of 7. She's ruthless and pretty scary, and I think, like you said, it's one of the best killer reveals in the entire franchise, probably second after Billy Loomis.
If the movie had a better storyline, it would probably be second on the list for me because that was shocking. You were expecting Emma Roberts to be the new face of the franchise and ended up her being one of the ghost faces. I thought it was a really smart twist. And also, Roman Roy.
Yes.
Roman Roy's a killer.
Is it?
Or is it a different Cullen?
It's the other Cullen.
Kieran Culkin?
Culkin.
Rory Culkin.
It's Rory Culkin.
Rory
I'm pretty
Culkin.
Sure.
Okay. They look so similar. It's hard to tell.
Let me double check.
I think that's Rory Culkin in Scream, and then Kieran Culkin's in Succession.
Yeah, it's Rory Culkin.
Gotcha.
We've had this conversation before, actually.
They look so similar.
Because Rory's the one who keeps his hair really long.
Mm-hmm. That's right, yeah.
They all have a really close resemblance, that intense sibling resemblance. But I think Scream 4, Emma Roberts' character, Jill Roberts, is a really great killer, and she has a huge kill count of 7.
Absolutely. She destroys people. I like it.
How do you feel about her motivation, where she wants, like what Sidney has, she wants the fame now?
I get that because it is pretty timely with the obsession with vanity, the obsession with attention that we have in our culture nowadays. So I think it actually is more relevant than when it came out.
Yeah,
especially with the rise of social media
with attention. Yeah, I think that's a great point. That's why I also think it's a great killer. It's really decent. It's like solid motivation tying today.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that there are definitely instances in real life of people doing extraordinarily terrible things to get attention. So I think it's a good motivation.
Next up, we have at number 3, Roman Bridger, who has a kill count of 9. Kills 9 people in Scream 3. He's also the director of Stab 3, and that wasn't enough for him. He had to do more.
Just wait until the movie's out, bro.
But it was revealed that he was rejected by his birth mother and then stalked her and learned of her secret affair with Hank Loomis.
Mm-hmm. So he's Sidney's brother.
He's the illegitimate son of Maureen Prescott.
Yeah.
He's Sidney's
half-brother. Yeah.
So, I mean, shooting shots, connecting it somehow. You got to figure things out.
But I will say it's getting soap opera-y with this kind of reveal. It's a little soap opera-y, I would say.
It's like your mom had another kid with another guy.
Guess what? There's another kid back from the dead.
Then we have Stu Maker, played by Matthew Lillard.
He's so funny.
My mom and dad are going to kill me. Did you really call my mom? He's awesome in that movie.
Get a little woozier, Billy.
I think he's the best character in Scream, the first movie. He's so funny. He's so charismatic and hilarious. He's entertaining as hell. And
it would have been a gold mine if they had kept him alive.
Nah, he needed to die, man.
I feel like if he comes back, it would have been great to have him back. If you're going to have some legacy characters back, he would have been great.
He had a kill count of 4. We're going to have the ghost of Stu as well.
Yeah, his Force ghost will show up eventually.
his
it's just going to be Billy and Stu just nodding and smiling during a party.
At the end of Scream 8, it's going to be a big celebration. Billy Loomis, Stu Maker, Scream Ghosts.
Great job, guys.
Great job, everybody. Stu's insane, but he's also a victim to Billy. And,
yeah.
And
he's a very impressionable guy.
Yeah, and obviously the world he's grown up in, he's lost and he's got issues, but he latched onto Billy Loomis, which was the wrong person to latch onto for emotional attention and friendship.
For sure.
And more.
Because he'll stab you.
I love in Scary Movie when they're a couple, but then he keeps stabbing the shit out of him. Like Billy's character in that. He's like in love with him, but he's not in love with him.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God.
You told me you loved me. I never said I loved you.
So funny. It's a great Scary Movie's great.
Yeah,
it's a great comedy.
Then we have Richie Kirsch in Scream 5, played by Jack Quaid. He has a kill count of only 2, but really solid character in terms of a villain reveal. Again, kind of like the Billy Loomis route, where I say Scream 5 was kind of just a carbon copy of Scream, just like Force Awakens with A New Hope. Lots of reboots do the same thing just to get the franchise going again. Of course, it's going to be the boyfriend, even though they divert suspicion from the audience many times in Scream 5. At the end, when you find out it's Richie, you're almost like, oh, it was Richie. Like, you knew it deep down, but they did a really great job of hiding it, I think.
I kind of guessed it was him, but then they were throwing you off the scent, so they did a good job about that. And Jack Quaid is an excellent actor, so it was nice to have him on board as the villain this time.
Because,
I would say he's definitely a top-tier killer in the franchise.
With Billy, he's so, like, he's got something in his eyes. Yeah. He's like so dark and mysterious. There's something going on, like the bad boy thing. But then Richie in Scream 5 is just like the nicest guy. He's a sweet boyfriend, does everything right.
He always does the right thing or says the right thing. So he seems to be like such a good guy.
You're like, it can't be him. It can't be, but it is. It is him.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Amber Freeman, played by Mikey Madison.
Oh, Amber is also a killer in that one too.
So she's got a kill count of 4. So they're the kill duo in that film. And at first, my first reaction in her first scene, I was like, she seems like she's the killer.
Yeah.
But then, like, towards the end of the film, I was like, is it actually her? But that was my number one. This might be the killer radar going off for her. I think she's a terrific actress. I just hope she doesn't keep getting cast in films where she gets lit on fire at the end.
Like it happens Once Upon a Time?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and then Scream 5, she gets lit on fire in the third act. Because
From
she's
to a
really,
crisp.
yeah, she's terrific, but I don't want her to get typecast as character gets lit on fire.
Hippies sure ain't. That's for sure.
Yeah, torture one of them. But I think she was probably, I think, the best actress besides Jenna Ortega in the fifth film.
Yeah, I had never seen Jenna Ortega in anything or heard of her before, but she really impressed me when we saw Scream 5, and I was like, that girl can act her ass off, so I'm not surprised by her rise.
Yeah, and then Mikey Madison I thought was awesome in that movie too. And then Scream 6, Quinn Bailey has a kill count of 1, potentially 5 others, depending on who was under the Ghostface mask at the time of the killings. Like I said, this was my immediate radar. Roommate, she's the killer. As soon as she came in to get her phone, when the two characters, or Jenna Ortega's character and the other guy,
He says, I think you're special.
I think you're special. I'm sorry, I laughed.
So we were in the theater, and it was like that sweet moment when they're sitting on the bed, and he goes, I think you're special. James just burst out laughing. The only person in the theater laughing.
I'm sorry. It's such bad. It's so bad. Such bad dialogue. I'm sorry.
It was so funny.
Because they're building like this really emotional moment. She just like got out of that like frat house, and he was like the protector, and he's like really like making a very sweet move on her. I think you're special. I was like,
It's so funny.
but then
Oh
the
my
roommate
God.
comes barging in to get her phone. 100% means that she's definitely the killer in my eyes. So I was like, she's one of them.
Yeah.
Kind of obvious for me. And then we have
Her dad.
no. Well, okay, we knew her dad too. So her
Yeah.
dad, Detective Bailey in Scream 6, also one of the Ghostface killers, has 3 known kills as well as potentially 5 others. So depending on who was under the Ghostface costume. And his motivation, obviously, we found out was Richie's father.
Getting revenge.
Getting vengeance.
Even though, I mean, Richie deserved to die if he's killing people. Not very law and ordery.
And then Anthony
It's wrong
like
kind of justice.
and Anthony knew like that he was immediately. He was like he elbowed me. He's like, yeah, he's the killer.
I knew it.
It's kind of obvious.
Well, so sometimes with these films, you can tell based upon the actor who's hired. Like, why would they be in a Scream movie if they're not going to have a juicy role as a villain? So that's one giveaway. But then also, I mean, it just seemed obvious the way he brought them in. He's like, a piece of her license was found in a murder scene covered in blood. He just calls her. He's like, yeah, I'm going to need you to come in. I'm like, that's not how this works.
I guess the way he handles evidence.
Police handling was too lax. It's like that girl get arrested. There would be like a SWAT team arresting her. Like it was too casual of police operations.
And
so
then
it seemed like a giveaway.
And then we have Ethan Bailey, who's the brother of Quinn. He's in Scream 6 as well. No confirmed official kills. Like we don't know the exact kill count, but he could be involved with 5 of them. But there's no official like he killed this
He's
person.
just so shy.
Anytime there's a bumbling, oh, I'm super shy idiot is like he's obviously involved, especially like the frat party where he's like, I'm so scared of girls. Like he's like one of the most attractive people in the room. Like, you kidding me? This guy's handsome
He's
as fuck.
6'2".
Handsome as fuck. He's like, oh, I'm so afraid to like.
A girl smiled. What's that mean?
Dude,
that mean?
come on. Those characters annoy me.
What's that mean?
Then we have Mickey Altieri in Scream 2, who has a kill count of 5, potentially 2 others.
That's Oliphant?
Yeah, Timothy Oliphant.
I love him. Yeah.
Who was hired by Billy Loomis's mother in Scream 2, who has a kill count of, we know, 1, potentially others. She obviously shoots Liev Schreiber's character at the end of the film.
Who we thought was going to be the guy.
Who, yeah, they were trying to lead
They
up.
did a good
What's
job
his
of
name?
throwing you off
Hold
the
on, I'm
scent of
sorry.
the killer.
His name, Liev Schreiber's character in Scream. What's his name?
Oh, yeah. He's got a cool name in it.
Cotton Weary.
Cotton Weary.
Cotton Weary. So she
It's actually
shoots
not that
Cotton
cool,
Weary
right?
at the end of the film. She could have potentially killed 2 others, but she, went on those chat rooms and found a guy who wanted to be a serial killer.
Her protege.
Saw the potential in him. Saw that potential.
So silly.
I honestly don't hate it. Chat rooms, shit was going down in chat rooms. There was a weird
That's true.
place for the internet
It's
in
the
the
Wild
world
West.
for like 5 to 10 years. For 5 years, chat rooms were freaking crazy, dude.
Yeah, like chat roulette and stuff.
No, chat roulette came way later.
Oh, okay.
I mean like the old
yeah,
AOL,
yeah.
like 10 websites on the internet chat rooms. Like Napoleon Dynamite.
Tell me you're old without telling me you're old.
Yeah, I'm not talking about chat roulette was when we were in college that came out.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, like 1998. Age, sex, location, ASL, like that kind of chat room.
Age, sex, okay. Oh, I got you.
Everyone's lying and saying they're like 27 years old, and you're like 11, wearing like a Hello Kitty shirt. Well, at least Anthony was. And then
I still do.
Who else do we have for
was.
killers? So yeah, that was Debbie Loomis was Billy Loomis's mother, and then we have Jason Carvey in Scream 6. Now, I thought this was a really interesting opening, played by Tony Revolori, where he and his roommates are basically, and partner, are Ghostface fans, and they're film students at this school, and they use Ghostface to kind of just start killing themselves, and it opens up with Ghostface.
No, they don't kill themselves, huh?
Killing themselves. I mean, killing people themselves.
Okay.
Not killing themselves. I mean,
Oh
like,
God, the way you worded it.
They start killing themselves. They start killing other people.
They just start killing people. Just don't say themselves, man.
I meant like taking on the action of being a killer.
Okay, say it that way.
They become killers themselves. That's better. And there's the opening of Scream 6. First of all, Samara Weaving is way too fine to be that nervous on the phone for a first date. She is way too fine for that.
Taking shots and stuff.
My goodness, I think I became a man for the second time when I saw Samara Weaving the opening of Scream 6. Holy crap. But there's no way she's that nervous before a date anyways, but I like the kill, not in terms of like this girl going into the alley. I'm like, get out of the fucking alley. But the stabs and the kills were good in this movie.
Yeah.
But taking the mask off after killing somebody at the opening of a Scream movie, something new. That's what I liked immediately about this movie. They did something different, but then obviously he's not really the Ghostface.
So I thought it was going to be, I was honestly a little disappointed because I thought the opening was so strong. And when we see Revolori going back to his apartment and stuff, I was like, are we going to get a Scream movie following Ghostface as the protagonist? I thought that, I was like, oh, this is going to be really cool. Like, it's going to be his perspective. We'll get the other characters, but he's going to be like the lead of the movie. That's what I was expecting. And obviously he got killed immediately. So when he got killed, I was like, oh, they could have had something really spectacular if they did it with that different approach. It could have been really fun. I still enjoyed the film, but I was a little, honestly, when it was revealed that he ended up getting killed, I was like, oh, thought it could have been cool to follow Ghostface, like Ghostface being the lead of the movie.
I agree. I thought that would have been really cool because then you could have cross-cut the storylines of him infiltrating the group and being part of the friend group and then showing the lies that Ghostface killers tell when they're in front of people to avoid suspicion. I thought that would have been an awesome approach to the perspective of the whole film from both Samantha and her family and her friends, as well as from seeing Ghostface's entire perspective. I guess as a studio, you might get cold feet following a killer like that. And
I don't know. I feel like you could still do the scares, and still make it scary if you filmed it that way. I don't know. I was excited by the opening, and then I was like, oh, okay. Now we're just going through the motions again.
Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by our friends at movieposters.com, the #1 place to get your posters online. Don't forget to use our promo code Raiders10 to get 10% off your order today. They have a huge selection of pretty much every movie and TV show available in their poster library, as well as all the Scream movie posters. So if you're a fan of Scream, the best place to get a poster for any of the films or the TV show is, of course, at movieposters.com. They also make a great gift for the film lover in your life. Go on, head over to movieposters.com and use our promo code Raiders10 to get 10% off your order today. And speaking of Rory Culkin, we have Charlie Walker in Scream 4, who has a kill count of 3, eventually gets killed by Emma Roberts' character, right? Mm-hmm. So she kills him because she's like just sick of him. He's so annoying. Also, least likely suspect. Like, I was really surprised. I'm trying to remember. Did she not want to share the attention is what it was?
Basically, she was just using him.
Yeah. That's what it was.
But they did a great job of avoiding suspicion. They had him like tied up outside and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Now, let's get into our ranking.
Let's rank
our ranking of the Scream franchise. Do you want to lead us off with #1, Anthony?
Well, do you want to start from 6 to 1?
So our ranking. All right, we'll start from the bottom.
We don't give away that #1 right away.
Okay, sure. Yeah, you're right. Where do we have ranked 6 in the Scream franchise?
At number 6, we have Scream 3. I think is obviously the weakest film of the series. Kind of unwatchable at times and doesn't warrant a rewatch. I think it's like we said, all these famous horror franchises. There's some really good films in them, but they oftentimes have mostly lukewarm films and some really bad ones. This is part of the Scream franchise where it's just like flat out just not a good film, not scary, not entertaining. Characters are uninteresting, so full of cliches and tropes. So I find it rewatch value is 0 on that film.
Wow, 0 for you. I would say it's more rewatchable. I mean, more watchable for me. Like, I like having the set and the location of the house and stuff, like
Hollywood,
on the studio, on being on the studio of the recreation of Sydney's house. I think those scenes are actually pretty cool. But there has to be a last place in any ranking. Sorry, Scream 3. There's a reason why every ranking has you at the bottom.
Yeah, so Critic score on Rotten Tomatoes 41, 38% audience score, so very low. And then Letterboxd is only a 2.9. IMDb is a 5.6. Anything other than 6 on IMDb is a big bang. It's a big dud. So Scream 3, you're on the bottom of the barrel.
And then at number 5 on our rankings, we have Scream 4. Now, this isn't to say we didn't like this movie or don't like it, because I think it's pretty solid. And like we said, it has one of the best killers for sure. But overall, the dialogue, I think, for me, doesn't work completely, and it can get hit or miss. But I would say, a Letterboxd has a 3.4, 60% Rotten Tomatoes critic, 56% audience, IMDb 6.2. It's obviously you got to put something number 5 too, and I just think the other 4 films have something that this one doesn't quite have. It captured Ghostface, I think, a little better in the essence of a Scream movie.
Yeah, and it does have some really good kills, lots of blood, which I want from a Scream film, and I think the twist was one of the better twists of the franchise. But I would say just story-wise and character-wise, it kind of is just like same thing, run of the motions, very cliched.
I think the third act's solid,
Yeah.
but I think getting there is just kind of a trudge.
Agreed, yeah. At number 4, we have Scream 5. IMDb has 6.3, Rotten Tomatoes 76 critics, 81% audience, Letterboxd 3.4. And so critics and audiences like this film more than you and I did. I ended up, I thought it was pretty good. I found it to be kind of boring and cliched. I didn't really love the cast. I didn't really love the story that was going on. I'm not the biggest fan of legacy sequels, and this is one where I think it didn't really work for me.
This was a legacy reboot sequel.
Legacy reboot sequel, yeah.
Hybrid.
Yeah, and also like the tongue-in-cheek humor, I liked some of it, but some of it was just a little, it just didn't land for me. And I know a lot of people like this movie a lot. It just didn't work for me. When I was in the theater, I really was just not really enjoying too much of it.
It was just too much like Scream for me. Mm-hmm. It was like beat for beat for beat for beat, the same movie.
Yeah.
So that took me out of it, and they were too over the top meta with this film compared to Scream. The original is a great example of a meta movie that knows exactly what it is. They tell you in the movie that they know exactly what it is. It's so fun. But this with Scream 5, which I like that they toned down a lot in Scream 6, told you almost every scene we're in a horror movie. This is going to be a horror movie. Oh,
wink,
get
wink.
it. We know what's going on.
Yeah.
Wink, 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 wink. Hey, we're in a horror movie. You're going to love this. So I think it was just too much of the meta for me that they dialed to like 100 to just constantly wink at the audience and to let you know that we know that you know that we know that you know that we know you're watching a horror movie. But we still have it number 4 because it was a solid. It was a solid entry.
Still good. And the kills were good. The kills were very good.
They were.
I gotta say.
I think
some of them were pretty brutal. Dewey's death was very brutal.
Yeah,
I liked it.
It had maybe the most blood of the franchise.
Yeah, it's up there for sure. And so I would say just because the kills were so well done, I would say that.
Number 3 on our list, we have Scream 6. Like we said, for all the reasons we were talking about it earlier, it's a really solid sequel to Scream 5. IMDb is a 7.3. Rotten Tomatoes critics is a 77. Audience is a 92. I think that's the highest on the entire franchise.
It is, yeah.
Letterboxd is a 3.8. Now, we've chatted about it a bit. Even though the killers were kind of obvious who they were to us when we were watching the film, I think it was still cool to bring characters from the franchise back, like Kirby, lots of twists and turns, keeping you on your feet, on your toes, edge of your seat. Great opening sequence that had a lot of potential going forward if they kept on that same path, which would have been really interesting of following Ghostface point of view.
Yeah.
That would have been cool as
Would
fuck.
have been great.
But I still enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, I found it. The kills were still a lot of fun. I liked some of the new locations. And I liked the opening a lot. So it did a lot for me that warranted the franchise still being alive. Although I don't think we need another Scream movie in the next year. I think I really do think they should take a couple years off in between films. I think it would just because if they keep this rate up in 10 years, we'll already be on Scream 16. So I think that they should slow down, but they're on the right track right now. And the cast improved. Jenna Ortega getting a lot more screen time was definitely something they needed to do and help the film for sure because she's the most talented actor in the cast. But I will say there were just a couple of things that kind of just like the convenience store was like, why isn't Ghostface just walk up through the aisle and just shoot them in the face with a shotgun,
There's
bro?
two
Like,
rows.
What are you waiting for?
There's 2 aisles in the convenience store.
They're
He has
right-
a shotgun.
Yeah, what are you waiting for?
What are you scared of? You literally have a shotgun. Just walk up, boom, movie's over.
See you later. So it was just a couple of moments like that where I was like, they're kind of they're stretching these scenes a little too long, and I was like, in the convenience store scene. I was like, just kill them. They're right there. What are you waiting
Just
for?
start blasting.
What are you waiting for?
Literally, he could light those 2 aisles up.
Absolutely.
You know how hard it would be to hide from somebody in a convenience store with 2 aisles? You know how hard that would actually be?
It's so true. Oh my God.
Here, throw that can. It is what it is.
And also, I like we said earlier, I'm not a fan of Billy Ghost. I'm just not a fan of it.
I like that. Billy
Billy
Ghost
Ghost.
instead of Billy Goat. Billy Ghost.
Billy Ghost.
Next up, tell us who we have ranked at number 2, Anthony.
Number 2, we have Scream 2, which is a 6.3 on IMDb, which I think is way too low. Audience has only a 58% rating, and then critics gave it an 82%. So audiences were not as big a fan of Scream 2 as we were. Letterboxd has a 3.4, which is about average for the franchise. I think Scream 2, it's obviously not the best story, but it does have a lot of great scares, a lot of great kills. Sydney is still, Nev Campbell is still owning that role. I think the cast is very good. But the movie theater kill, Jada Pinkett Smith, Maureen, is an excellent kill. One of my favorite of the franchise. And then also, when Sydney and her friend crashed the car, and Ghostface is in the car, and she has to climb over Ghostface.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite scenes in Scream's franchise. I thought it was a very thrilling, extremely suspenseful scene. I remember seeing it in theaters like, oh shit. And even rewatching it, it still has that scare quality to it. So I think there are a lot of great scares in Scream 2 that are some of the best of the entire series.
If Scream 7 is centered around a movie being made, then this franchise is just rinse repeat because Scream 2 and Scream 6 are kind of related in a lot of ways. You know, the kids are going to college now. Ghostface is on campus.
I will say, sorry, about Scream 6 is like, are they all in the same college? Are they? How are they all in the same dorm apartment in New York City?
It's a movie, man.
Yeah, I was just like,
Those are big ass dorms.
they're not even gonna do anything about school. They're nothing about anyone having a job. They just did it like I was like everyone's here. They're in college.
Hey, man, they're sticking together.
Yeah, but in the other movies, at least they're going to classes and stuff.
True.
You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying, man.
Yeah.
I'm there with you, but it's kind
Don't
of
kill me for saying it, everyone. I'm just sorry.
it's
Sorry.
the same thing with the new Star Wars trilogy is kind of like a replication of the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back, and then Return of the Jedi. I mean, not Return. I mean, the right. What's the second film?
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker. Yeah.
No. So Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And then The Last Jedi are very similar films.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
That's what I meant to
That's
say.
what you're saying, yeah.
Just like A New Hope and Force Awakens are very similar films.
Mhm.
Structure-wise, story-wise,
Same thing.
pretty much
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
You could say Scream 6 is kind of Scream 2.
It is. It's college one.
Yeah.
They're gonna do a movie one next one. I think you're right.
If
They're gonna do it.
if there's gonna be like a Stab 7, Scream 7 and Stab
You
7,
might be onto something. It might be a movie.
they're gonna try to make the rights to Samantha being attacked.
Yeah, you're right.
Moving on to the number 1 on our list, obviously, is the OG Scream from 1996, 7.4 on IMDb. Rotten Tomatoes is an 80% critics, 80% audience. Letterboxd 4.1. This is one of the best American horror films of all time. Reinvigorated the slasher genre in the 1990s. We did an entire episode on the Scream franchise, and we talked heavily about Scream and its influence and how much we love it. Adore this film. It is highly rewatchable. I'll put Scream on any night of the week versus the rest of these. Meh. That's the major difference between all the Scream films and the first one. That's the one where I will put on any time.
I completely agree, and I also think it's one of the most rewatchable horror films of all time. And if I had to pick between watching Scream or any of the other Screams, I would always pick Scream 1, always. And I just think it's a flat out a perfect film. Story's character, the twists, the gore's great, the kills are awesome. I love Ghostface in this film. It really sparked new life and reinvigorated so many new ideas into the horror genre. So Scream 1, I think, is a very special horror film.
Yeah. Thanks so much for tuning into our episode on the Scream franchise ranking, as well as talking about the killers and the new films. We appreciate you tuning in so much. Please become a patron today at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. It is the very best way to support our show. For a minimum of $2, you get access to our weekly bonus episodes, as well as the weekly chat, which has now moved exclusively to Patreon. We have tiers at $2, $5, $10 gets you access to our Discord. $25 gets you access to a custom episode where you pick the topic and we'll do it for you. And then our top tier has a ton of incredible perks, including a private watch party with us and coming on the show after 3 months. Every tier has incredible perks. It's the best way to support our show. Helps Anthony get his Trader Joe's every week, so thank you so much.
See you next time.
This episode was executive produced by our chosen one patrons, Cody Moen, Andrew Hagan, Becca Keene, Benjamin Cook, Calvin Murphy-Griggs, Nicholas Martin, Darian, Tyler McFly, and Sal Koching. Our chosen one patrons are our biggest supporters. Thank you so much. Raiders of the Lost Podcast is a mirror image production. Sound mixing done by Jacob Kossler. Opening music by Chase Jackson.